What's going on, everybody? Um, this kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't planning on doing a stream or anything tonight or anything like that, but unfortunately, um, I just read the news that we just lost David Emge, 77 years old, and I knew he wasn't in the best health. I know he'd been in pretty bad health for quite a while now, but it was a really weird moment um, tonight for me for a couple of reasons. Not to make this about me or anything, because it's absolutely not. Um, but yeah, sorry, I'm just like I just jumped on here. I wasn't planning on coming on here, and I don't really know what to say. I just kind of felt like I had to get on here and kind of get these thoughts out. Literally tonight, as I picked up the Booby Hatch, the movie The Booby Hatch that Rudy Ritchie and John Russo did back in the 70s. Picked that up on DVD from Synapse not too long ago. And tonight, I just, for whatever reason, I had never seen it before, never watched it. For some reason, tonight, I was just kind of compelled to put it in and check it out. And one of the main reasons why is because I knew that David Emge was in it. Um, so I wanted to see him in it. And I'm shaking right now. I'm very upset at this news. So as I'm watching it, I get to the scene with David Emge. He's playing a character in it, and literally as the scene ended, um, I don't even. Like I said, I've never seen it. I don't know if he's in it anymore. But um, as the scene was over, I literally picked up my phone and got on Facebook, and then that's the first thing that pops up is that we have lost David Emge. Um, it was the weirdest thing. I can't explain it. Um, and then I find out that he is from here in Evansville. He has been living here in Evansville in a nursing home or whatnot, and his funeral is going to be on Wednesday. Um, Visitation and funeral and all that. So I'm planning on going to that. It was just it's the weirdest thing. I did not expect that. Um, I had no idea that he was from Evansville or in Evansville. So I don't really know. I don't really have a lot to say. Never got to meet him. Never met the man. By the time that I had started going to conventions, he'd kind of stopped doing it because of his health issues. Um, I got his obituary pulled up here. I'll go ahead and read through it. ERI in here. What's going on? I got to meet the man 2007 class act on Legend. Yeah, unfortunately, I never got the chance to. Um, but I'll definitely be making the effort to attend his service on Wednesday. Now that I know that it's here where I'm living currently. Um, yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's a very sad night for anybody that's a fan of George or Dawn of the Dead or horror in general. I mean, this is one of the most, you know, iconic names out there. And yeah, I don't really know what to say. I just felt like I had to get on here and kind of express these feelings or whatnot. But his obituary, David Michael Emge, 77 of Evansville, passed away Saturday. Apparently, he passed away yesterday, January 20th, 2024, at the West River Health Campus. David was David was born. Sorry, I'm gonna try to read this without. Like I said, I'm just completely unprepared tonight to do anything. But this news hit pretty hard. Um, David was born September 9th, 1946, in Evansville to the late Richard Andrew and Gertrude Mary Emge. He was a member of the Boy Scout troop at Sacred Heart and a proud Eagle Scout. David studied drama at the University of Evansville and graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree. While attending U of E, David was drafted into the United States Army and served during the Vietnam War. David began his acting career on stage at the Pittsburgh Playhouse in 1971 and made his film debut in the lowbrow comedy The Booby Hatch, which I was watching, which is a lowbrow comedy. He briefly lived in Washington, D.C., where he performed in dinner theater. In 1976, he moved to New York City. He was working as a chef in New York when he was cast as the helicopter pilot Stephen in George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. He was also cast in 2 other movies, Basket Case 2 and Hellmaster. Surviving David are 3 sisters, Sue, Barry, Kathleen Whitkin, and Barbara Rexing, and many nieces, nephews, great-nieces, and great-nephews. In addition to his parents, David was preceded in death by sisters Judith Emge, OSB. Not sure if that's I'm not familiar with that, and Mary Pat Smead, and brothers Charles, Richard, Walter, Melvin Emge, and by an infant brother Wayne Emge. There will be a mass of Christian burial held at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, January 24th at Sacred Heart Catholic Church. Burial will follow in St. Joseph Catholic Cemetery. Friends may visit with the family from 10 a.m. until service time on Wednesday at Sacred Heart Church. David's family extends a special thank you to the staff of West River Health Campus, especially Miranda, for all of their kind and considerate care. I'm not familiar with where that's at here in Evansville. In lieu of flowers, memorial contributions may be made to Mater D High School, 1300 Harmony Way, Evansville, Indiana, 47720. So if you want to make any contributions there to the memory of David Emge, you can send it to that address. I'll put the link down here in the description box here on the video. Yeah, I mean, it hit hard. Like I said, it was just completely strange because I was sitting there literally watching him in this movie, The Booby Hatch, and just like, oh, it's David Emge, and just getting just happy to see him in something outside of Dawn, and of course, Russ Streiner and John Russo and quite a few others are in there as well. Rudy Ritchie's in there as well. But the main thing I wanted to see was David Emge in it as I think his name was Angelo Fettuccini or something like that, something silly. I'm just kind of mind blown right now. I literally picked up my phone to see this news, and I'm not prepared or in any place to do like a real tribute right now to David and what all he's meant to me and fans like us and people that watch my streams and follow the channel, and but it just shook me. I think it blew my mind just to find out that he was living here in Evansville, and I had no idea. It's not like I would have been able to go visit him or anything, but I think the last thing that I heard from David Emge, he recorded a phone message right before the Living Dead weekend in 2018 for the 40th anniversary of Dawn of the Dead. He couldn't make it, and I believe it was Christian Stavrakis who made the phone call, and he left he recorded a message to all the fans saying, sorry you couldn't be there. But unfortunately, his health issues at the time, he was not allowed to travel. I think we all would have loved to have had David at any of these conventions and get-togethers here in Pittsburgh, Living Dead weekend and whatnot, because I mean, he's as important as anybody else that deserved to be there and celebrated for his performance and contributions to Dawn of the Dead um, and just the Romero universe in general. It's great that we have you know um, the commentary on the Argento cut of Dawn of the Dead with him and Galen and Ken Foray and Scott Reiniger. We have that, that was recorded in 2003, I believe, 2003, 2004, something like that. Um, so we do have that. Of course, he's, was included on the Dead Walk documentary. So it's nice that we do have his recollections and his memories of his time working on these films and all that. But it's I don't know. My fiance thought I was crazy. She thought, because I literally went in there. She was laying down to go to bed, and I was just like, I gotta tell you something, and I'm just like shaking. I was like, David Emge from Dawn of the Dead I just found out that he'd passed away. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have very much to say. I just wanted to get on here and talk about it for a little bit. And like I said, I'm not really didn't have any, obviously didn't have this planned out or a real tribute planned out for David or anything like that. But I just had this like just wave of emotions and feelings, hit me just because literally I'm just like literally I'll turn to I got the movie paused right now. As literally I was watching the movie and right after his scene, like I find out, and it was just like you know, Jade, my fiance, bro, was just like maybe, something overcame. There was something supernatural at hand here or something where it was like, oh, tonight is the night that you should watch this for David, and I don't know. It was really rough. I like I said, I am planning on going to the visitation and the service and all that. Just pay my respects just because I can. It's literally right here in the city that I live in. So I feel fortunate that I'll be able to do that and you know um, pay my respects to a guy who's meant a lot to everybody. That loves that film and loves George and yeah. So I don't guess I'll go on too much longer here. But just wanted to come on and kind of get it all out. Um, kind of compartmentalize everything that just happened here in the past 30, 45 minutes or so. Um, but it's rough. It's terrible. The first of the big four, the main four from Dawn, no longer with us. And like I said, we all knew that David was not in the best health, and you knew that his health wasn't good. But you never expect these things. So I know here recently, losing Nick Tallow and finding out Catherine Colbert had passed away, and it's just it stresses even more. If you get a chance to meet these people and let them know that you appreciate them and let them know that what they did will not be forgotten and that they'll live on through their work. I mean, that's the big thing. I think that's a huge part of any creative person, an actor, director, musician, anything, is that they'll always live on through their work. You can always go back you know, and appreciate what they gave to us while they were here. So yeah, it's just another reminder to at any chance you get to meet your heroes and let them know what they've meant to you and let them know that you appreciate them. Because I know a lot of people, they it's something that they did years ago. They don't think anything of it, and then you hear it all the time. You see these people that go to conventions and they're just blown away that people still care, and people still do care, about David and Galen, Ken, everybody, down to you know, the smallest role, or, these people, we grew up with these people. We grew up with them. They were, our heroes, and we live vicariously through them, through these movies and their performances. So if you get the chance, always make an effort to meet them and shake their hand and thank them, and let them know that what they did had an effect on you in your life, because they're not always going to be here. They're not always going to be around. So appreciate them while they're here, and let them know that they're appreciated. Um, so rest in peace, David Emge. Thank you for all that you did. Um, it's an I like it sucks. I would have loved to have met him in person and thanked him in person. Didn't get the chance to. I'm glad ERI saying that he on here that he did get to meet the guy, and I know he used to do quite a few conventions and stuff back in the day, and I know he was, always proud and happy to meet the fans, and you could see that on like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that we're able to show him, mingling with like the mall tour on the Dawn of the Dead 4 DVD Ultimate Edition. He's in the mall tour and just having a blast. You could tell he's just loving every minute of it. Um, but my condolences go out to his family and friends, and um, yeah, it's at a loss for words here. I know usually I can get on here and I can just run off at the mouth about anything for a couple hours, but yeah, it just hit me like a ton of bricks tonight, guys. So I just thought I had to come on here, my therapy session with like-minded people like you guys. Matt Randolph, so sad, a major part of my cinema upbringing. Absolutely, it's funny because he looked so much like what's that, Peter Lorre, I think, the guy that played House in the TV show House. And I remember my parents were a big fan of that when that was first on, and they didn't know Peter Lorre from a hole in the wall, but when they first started watching and they saw him in there, he was like they came to I can't remember if they called me or texted me or something. It was like, "Hey, I think that guy from that movie you like, Dawn of the Dead, I think he's in this show." And I was like, "Really? I don't think so," Or, um, Hugh Laurie. I'm sorry, Hugh Laurie, Peter Lorre. Who the fuck is Peter Lorre? I think that's a old Hammer guy. I don't know, guys. But I remember they went out of their way to there because they remembered, David, and he just had that look, and they swore up and down that that was him. Um, but uh, yeah. So I don't know what else to say, guys. I'm sure I'll be doing something else. Like I said, his funeral's on Wednesday, so I'm gonna try to attend that, and I don't know what else to say. But I appreciate you guys checking it out here tonight. I feel like there's so much more I can talk about with like I said, I just came on here. I'll probably do a tribute show coming um, up here at some point in the next week, because I didn't do anything this weekend. I didn't really have the inspiration or anything really to talk about, but I got a lot to talk about right now, and it's just a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings that I gotta sort through. And because man, we've lost, losing George was a big one. Obviously, I didn't do a channel or anything back then, but that one definitely hit hard. Um, but now that the first of the big main four cast are no longer with us, it's really it's it's hitting hard tonight, guys. Cleveland Resell, what's up, my man? Definitely the end of an era. Yeah, that's sadly that's what it kind of starting to feel like, because these people aren't getting any younger, and nobody is. And I would have loved, it would have just been so great at Living Dead weekend last year for the anniversary get together of Dawn of the Dead, where everybody got together, and it'd been great to have him there. But I know he was there in spirit. Um, but okay, I'm gonna hop off here, guys. I appreciate it. I just had to jump on here. I didn't know. I had nothing planned. I got nothing. But so yeah, I'm just gonna kind of deal with it, and it's rough. Sucks. But like I said, I'll probably be on here later this week to talk about David and his legacy with, I mean, he'll live on forever just as as zombie flyboy. To me, top two greatest zombies of all time. I mean, cinematic history, he'll live on forever in that. And it's, I'm sure it feels trivial at this point to talk about shit like that. So I don't really want to just talk about, like, his performances or anything like that. It feels very trivial in moments like this, so I'm just not even gonna go there. But like I said, I do think it's important that these people will live on with us and through us, and hopefully live on with, my daughter when I'm gone. She'll be like, "Oh, my dad loved this movie back in the day. This movie's 100 years old now, but my dad loved it, so I grew up on it and I know it." Um, so that's one way we can always keep David's memory alive, and just keep all of the cast memories, George's memory alive. That's why I do this channel, is you know and maybe some kids on YouTube, and they'll come across something that I posted on this channel, and they'll get into Romero, and then they'll discover, David Emge, and they'll discover the Joe Pilatos of the world, and they'll discover, all the other, um, just great people too. It's not like any of these people were prima donnas or anything like that. So that's one of my big hopes, is that maybe this channel will help, open the door to some kid years down the road. They'll stumble across something that I posted, and it'll hit them. They'll be like, "Holy shit, this is cool. I want to dig into more of this," like I did when I was a kid. I want to find out more about these characters and these people and these movies and George. And so I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling at this point. Matt Randolph, he was definitely a part of my earliest memories. My mother introduced me to the Dead series. Fond memories for sure. Yeah, like I said, that's definitely the way to keep these memories alive and going into the future, far after, far everybody's, way past when everybody's gone, when I'm gone, when let's these movies affected us in a way and inspired us, and um, these actors, and meeting them in person, just you can't quantify it on, on any kind of scale, what it means to kind of meet your heroes in person, and then especially when they don't let you down, which George never did, and unfortunately I never met David. Um, but I don't know. I'm just kind of circling here, so um, but I'm gonna hop off here. Appreciate you guys that are watching along with me. Hope you like I said, I'll put the link to the obituary in the description of this video. So if you guys want to go and make a contribution or something in David's memory to the Mater D High School, which Mater D High School, it's funny that it's mind blowing to think that this whole time David's been literally right down the road from me, and I had no idea. Um, because it's always just been kind of a mystery to me. It's like, oh, I hope David's okay. I always heard that he was in bad health, and he was, in, uh, under physician care or whatnot. but I had no idea he was literally right here and then in the city that I'm currently living in. Not that I would have been able to do anything really, but it would have just been kinda comforting to know, but, I don't know, I don't know. Um, but yeah, I'll throw that description or, that, link down in the description if you guys wanna make a contribution in his name um, or send flowers or whatever you guys wanna do. I'm sure the family would really, really appreciate that right now. But yes, David Emge passed away at the age of 77. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Flyboy. Um, so that's Matthew Sars Rex. Would have loved to have met the guy. Loved Dawn and the Dad. Rest in peace. Absolutely. Yes. Anyway, I'm gonna hop off here, guys. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'll check in later this week. Let you guys know. Um, I guess how the funeral went and whatnot. But yeah. So David Emge, rest in peace, sir. Fly high, as they say. You'll always be remembered. You'll carry on and definitely in my heart and my memory. And it's funny, I got his image everywhere. And right now I'm surrounded by David Emge. It's it's pretty wild. Hey William. I knew David was ill, but this is deeply sad news. I'll donate. Yeah, I think I know he had been ill for quite some time, which is why he hadn't been doing conventions. But so yeah, I mean, we were always kind of hoping that he would recover, but we know nobody really knew how bad off he was, or what the situation was with David. But yes, if you make a donation, I'm sure the family would greatly appreciate that. Hey, Suzanne, how you doing? Did he just pass away? Yes. Well, he passed away yesterday. Um, According to the obituary, he passed away yesterday. I just found out today. Like I don't know if you caught the beginning. But I was literally watching Booby Hatch for the first time just for David Emge, just because I knew David was in the fucking movie and I wanted to see it. And then literally after his scene, I picked up my phone and had found out, uh, saw the news, and it really, I don't know, it just hit me really really hard. I had to hop on here and just kind of vent it all out. So I don't know if this video is going to make much sense to a lot of people because it's just me kind of sorting things out in my own head. But it was just a very very weird moment for me tonight. Um, yeah, it does. It definitely does. And yeah, like we knew that he was in bad health, but it's never easy. Uh, Never easy to lose anybody. But like I said, I'm still trying to compartmentalize everything, but I don't know. Not much else to say. Like I said, I'm gonna make an effort to attend the visitation service on Wednesday. Pay my respects to him and his family. Um, Probably send flowers or something like that. Um, so yeah, I'll probably check in later this week, let you guys know how that went. And like I said, I'm definitely planning on doing like a full, retrospective tribute to the great David Emge because it's yeah, absolutely. As Suzanne said, zombie icon, absolutely. Maybe the best zombie walk of all time. I'll give him that. I don't think that's arguable. I think as George put it, King Zombie is what when they were shooting that, and David pulled out that walk. George made the exclamation, man, King Zombie, like that's hey Claudio. Yeah, very, very sad. it's a very sad night for Romero fans and Don fans everywhere. The news first I first saw the news, I first saw the obituary. It spread pretty damn quickly because within 5 minutes, I mean, it was everywhere on my Facebook feed, and yeah, it hit pretty hard for a lot of us. But it was just a very weird moment for me tonight. Suzanne met him at Dead Reunion 2004. Was that in Pittsburgh? That was probably when they shot that mall tour. It was him and Ken Foray. I think Tom Savini was there. Greg Nicotero. Um, there were quite a few people there on that tour where they were just touring the mall, and I think the J.C. Penney's was still there at that time, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, unfortunately, I never got the chance to meet the man. By the time I started going to conventions, that was kind of when he was, couldn't make it anymore, and that'll be a big regret of mine is the fact that I never got the chance to meet, uh, never got to meet Flyboy, great Dave Emge. Matt Randolph, if I weren't so far away, I'd like to go to visitation as well. Go with all of us behind you. I will definitely do that. I will definitely. You guys will be there in spirit with me. Absolutely. That's the plan. It's pretty crazy that it's all right here in my backyard. I had no idea, and when I found that out, I was just like, well, I gotta go. Like I'm definitely leaving work early that day to make sure I go and pay my respects because you know that was one thing I remember. I remember when George passed away. I remember my dad saying, "Well, you got to go to the funeral." I was like, it's in Toronto for one. I will never be able to do that and take off work and go to Toronto. But that's one thing I do. I wish I would listen. My dad was like, dude, you got to go. And my dad's not one of those guys that's just like, oh, well, you just got to, you know, chase after it. My dad's very, logical thinker. But, uh, but I remember when he said that and I was just like, nah, I wouldn't be able to make it. And that's one thing I kind of wish I would have looking back. So, uh, see, William, no one will ever top David's zombie walk. I still don't know how he did it. I mean, just the body, the body contortion that it took to do that, and the foot turned and the gun, I mean, just fucking brilliant. I mean, that was and that was all David. That was not a George didn't tell him. Like I said, George was just as ecstatic to see that as anybody else, and that was all David. Um, it's insane. It's you gotta love it. Suzanne went to the 25th Dawn reunion in Pittsburgh and the Horrifying convention about a year later. Romero and everyone from his Dead films were there. It was very memorable. Yeah, it was 25th. Yeah, 25th reunion. It's kind of sounded when I went to the 40th. Um, or what was it? Yeah, I guess it was the 40th anniversary of Night of the Living Dead in Dallas, Texas Frightmare Weekend. They were all there. I mean, Ken and Scott were all there, and I was really bummed that Galen couldn't make it and David couldn't make it. And that was one of those things where I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get one. I ended up eventually meeting Galen, and I just never got the chance to meet David. Um, so it's always going to be a big regret of mine. Um, but I hope that he knew how appreciated and loved that he was, and how much he meant, and how many fans that he had. I mean, you know. And hopefully, I mean, I hope to hell that he's been getting steady, receiving some steady income and some checks for likeness rights from Rubenstein for all these years and all the stuff that he's on. I mean, it's him and Paul Musser, and probably gotten quite a few checks over the years from Rubenstein, for their likeness. So, but yeah. Anyway, Matt says, took my wife and stepdaughter to the Living Dead Museum several years ago. Total fanboy moment over his autograph. Yeah. I do have an autograph of his, but I purchased it off eBay, so I never got to get it personally. Um, but that's one thing we can always go back. We can always go and uh, visit David at the Living Dead Museum. They got the elevator there that they salvaged from the J.C. Penney, and they have the dummy stand up there of the Flyboy zombie. Um, so if nothing else, he'll be always remembered at the Living Dead Museum for sure, 100%. She's certainly the creepiest zombie in Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, just the walk and just the gashes. I mean, it's just perfect. Mm. Claudius has met the rest of the cast, but not him or George, unfortunately. I did meet George, thankfully. That'd have been something that would have haunted me for forever if I'd never gotten the chance to meet George. But luckily, I did, and didn't get to meet David. So that's big regret on my part. But yeah, speaking of watching the booby hatch a minute ago, his scene. I mean, he's fantastic, hilarious in it. Plays the character. He's a detective. His name's Angelo Fettuccini, and he plays the brother of Rudy Ritchie, who's playing a guy who's dealing with a life-altering event where he can't get an erection anymore. It's a silly, silly, stupid movie. Gotta say, but it was really really cool to see David and just him hamming it up and having a good time. So that was just a weird night that for me to catch this news was exactly the same night that I literally was watching him in a movie, The Booby Hatch for the first time. So yeah, I don't know. It's been kind of rough tonight, but I'm gonna hop off here, guys. I will, like I said, I'll hop back on here later this week. We'll definitely talk more about David, and I'll plan out. I'll kind of gather my thoughts and gather some materials or whatever I need to do to do a proper tribute to the man himself, Mr. David Emge. May he rest in peace. 77 years old, passed away yesterday, right here in Evansville. Like I said, I'll be attending the visitation on Wednesday, and I'll let you guys know how that went. And yeah, absolutely, Suzanne, great idea. I'll have to watch Dawn of the Dead tomorrow. Time to go, but I'd jump on and see what has happened. Take care, all. That's what you guys can do. Pop in Dawn of the Dead, and give it a spin for David, and keep that memory going. May he live on forever, as Flyboy would. So, all right, folks. I appreciate it. You guys have, I would say, a good rest of the night, but it's going to be a very bummer of a rest of the night. But it's going to be a bummer rest of the week for me, as a matter of fact. But I appreciate you guys hopping on for this short period here that I just wanted to get on and share my thoughts and memories and feelings, mostly about the passing of David Emge, 77 years old. So rest in peace, David. We loved you.